Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome to show 1078. Rollin Frost here. As you can see from the way I've drawn Uranus here, we're in for a turbulent week. Turbulence, huh? Some chaos in your world. That's what Uranus does. Brings a little chaos. The glyph itself, the symbol, is interesting. It's really two crescents. These are moons. These are people, one here and one here. They're not facing each other. They're looking out from opposite directions, huh? And they're tied together by the cross of matter, physical stuff. And that's over the circle of spirit, which I put an unhappy face on because we got a new moon squaring Uranus at the very time it stops. When it stops in the sky, August 2nd, at 7:32 p.m., is when the feeling of Uranus is strongest. So what's it about? Well, here's two people. They're not talking to each other. They're looking the other way. They're individuals, rebels even, but they get tied together by the cross of matter. This is like a union guy comes into a shop, and there's all kinds of different people here. A lot of them don't hardly talk to each other. Different races, different religions, different ethnicities. But the union guy comes in and says, look, you need more safety, you need more wages, more benefits. Those are cross of matter. Those are things that, physical things, huh? And it ties these guys together. And they join a union to get things done. And it's over the circle of spirit. This is regardless of religion or non-physical things. Your patriotism or your favorite football team or a whole bunch of stuff that has no physicality at all is a circle of spirit. So we don't care about your religion, your people. You're the crescent, the moon of flesh, and we tie you together. That's what a hurricane does, or a tornado, or an earthquake. Suddenly, you meet your neighbors that you maybe never talked to at all, and the necessity is you share all the steaks in your freezer because they're going to go bad because you're out of electricity. What? No electricity? Well, go see if your neighbor's got some candles. He'll help you out. The cross of matter ties together these people who normally, aren't together at all. So Uranus comes up suddenly, and it has a way of unifying people in a strange way because of the necessity that they need to share their food or their water or their tarps. That's what Uranus is like. It's not always easy for Uranus. Even your astrologer here on television unites people who are very different. Yes, television is Uranus. Your astrologer has laryngitis, some kind of infection of my larynx, and I have trouble talking. So this isn't easy for Uranus. It's not easy for scientists today, what with Mr. Trump disparaging their work. So Uranus needs a little sympathy. Call up your astrologer and order some work. Anyway, the new moon makes it difficult because it squared Uranus. Yes. Let's take a look at it day by day and see how it goes for you. Now, our sky mirror got complicated because we had that full moon on Pluto, which makes us panicky. Eek, a bug. You won't be out of that until August 7th when the next full moon happens and takes us out of that panickiness a bit. And then we had a new moon squaring Uranus, which makes us feel alone and shaky and twirly. Now, the advantage of the sky mirror is it can tell us when this stuff is strongest, because we've got the planetary pattern here, And what is this guy? Oh, here's Jupiter sextiling Saturn. There's liberals and conservatives. You think they'd get together on this sextile? They have an option to work together. Yeah. Because Saturn here opposing Venus, well, the Republicans are screwing the weakened people. Pluto squaring Jupiter, so the liberals are in a panic, and they don't have any control of things. So it's not real easy. But let's run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern and get some details on it, huh? It's nice to have some details. Nice to know what's coming up so you can plan a bit. So here on a Thursday show, moon's in Libra. It's not too bad. As you cut to Friday, though, in the middle of Friday, here at 17 degrees of Libra, the moon goes by Jupiter, and we all want to expand and laugh and clown around. But here's a square to Pluto, and there's a policeman with his gun saying, "Stop that! Stop that clowning around!" And there's a panicky feeling as the moon squares Pluto, and Pluto had the full moon. It's like, eek, a bug! It's your reptile brain being excited. Flight or fight. That's what it's about. So, not an easy Friday. No, hope you get through work and get home safely. Time you get home? Well, here's a nice sextile to Saturn. Got things organized, don't you? And here's a trine to Venus, Saturday morning. Stay in bed late. Relax. Relax. Enjoy yourself. Rest. That's what Venus is for. And you're going to need it, because in the middle of Saturday, here's the opposition to Uranus. Yeah, it starts actually before lunch. And we've got wind, and we've got power outage, and we've got sudden interruptions to our lives. We've got tornadoes whirling all around, and hurricanes threatening. And we could get some of that in Hawaii, too. More on that in a little bit. There's also that new moon here, just after lunch, adds to it all. Yeah, the square to the new moon. So Saturday isn't easy either. It's tough. Sunday morning gets a little better, because here's Mercury. The kids are happy real early in the morning. But here, after breakfast, is the square to Mars and the Sun. And the men aren't, and we're having road rage. Trying to get stuff done, can't fix it. What are we protecting? Everybody's in we had a state of panic Friday, interruption Saturday, and here anger and road rage Sunday. Oh boy. Just before dinner, we finally get a trine to Neptune, and we got some compassion. You know, read Jesus. Treat everybody like your brother. That works. A little telepathy will help too. And then finally here, about 10, 11 o'clock, we have a trine to Pluto, or a sextile to Pluto, and we feel like we got some control after all. I got my candles, and I got food in the cupboard. Don't need a refrigerator. Good. You're getting along, aren't you? Feel the same way. Monday, moon's still in Scorpio. Tuesday, moon goes into Sagittarius. Vibes change. Before lunch, here's a square to Mercury. And it's a difficult time to walk and talk and get around. Nobody's listening. And by Tuesday night, here we have the trine to the Mars and Sun. And we're up and running, and we're getting things done, and we're doing physical work. Good, excellent. We're going to need it. Yeah. Uranus here. Oh, we got a square to Neptune. That's too bad. Where is that? That's breakfast time. So there's confusion and delusion. Wednesday morning at breakfast. If it doesn't smell good, don't eat it. And here just before lunch, we have a sextile to Jupiter. Truth comes out. There's wisdom around. You know, take a bite of that. And then by the time you get to Wednesday night, around dinner time or after dinner, well, here's old Saturn. Things settle down. You know, I got a plan. I got enough money. I got enough time. I didn't have enough of anything. Not enough. But I got enough to get by. Yes. And Thursday morning, moon's still in Sagittarius. Before lunch, here's a trine to Uranus. Brotherhood kicks in. Maybe if I have enough, I should share a little bit with my neighbor. Yep. Good idea. Thursday night and Thursday afternoon, the moon shifts into Capricorn. There's a square to Venus, or an opposition to Venus. So the little girls got hung up in the tornadoes and hurricanes and power outages, and nobody feels like they need some rest, but they can't get no peace and quiet. Thursday night. Friday morning, moon's still in Capricorn, and we have a nice trine to Mercury. So we're communicating, getting stuff done. Here Friday afternoon, here's a sextile to Neptune. There's music. Yeah, we got some faith in things again. That's good. There is a square to Jupiter Friday afternoon and evening, so we're overdoing it. And we're going into that weekend zone of panickiness. Eek a bug. It's Friday night. It's late. It's midnight, and the moon's going by Pluto. Is that a siren that I hear? Could be. Could be. Or the cats are out fighting over territory. Too late for noisy leaf blowers. They come on board Saturday afternoon. You know, the moon's in late Capricorn, and the moon squares Uranus. So between Pluto, Friday night, which had the full moon on it, and this is the last of the panicky Pluto incidents, you know, and then Saturday evening with the square to Uranus, which is stationing and stopping, by the way, back here on Wednesday. So it's very powerful. And there's a new moon squaring that one. Well, you're in the land of panickiness and policing and twirlies and hurricanes and high winds. So here's your second weekend. The first weekend, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 28th, 29th, 30th of July. Here's the second one. It's the 14th, 15th, 16th, or 4th, 5th, 6th of August. And these are the 2 weekends that are going to be difficult. Don't plan a lot of activities. You need to be taking care of your house and home and kids and pets and everybody else. As you will see, because Sunday night, here's a late Sunday night, this is midnight or so, here's an opposition to Mars. I didn't get all my work done. There's still some road rage out there. And here's a full moon at 15 Aquarius. And it's going to oppose Mars. So you're going to be in for a month of angriness and having too much work to do, which could be worse, you know. But Monday night on the 7th, here's a trine to Jupiter. Some wisdom comes out and a sextile to Saturn. And maybe those government idiots got something done here on the 7th. Don't know. I wouldn't count on them. Not the kind of people we've been electing. Uranus has a green color, kind of electric green. But this is a reminder, you got enough batteries? Did you fill your tub with water? Candles aren't the best idea. They pollute your air. More better you depend on 12-volt DC batteries and things. You know, one of the nicest things to have around is a car battery. You know, you can hook up some 12-volt lights to that, and it lasts a long time. But I hope you got enough batteries by this time, because even in the lesser areas of the world, there will be power outages. Maybe it's because of all the heat. Everybody turned on the air conditioners, overloaded the electric lines, and bang, you're out. That's another possibility for this period. Yeah, this is my old sign here. I had to add something. It's not only the government idiots that are killing us all because they're ignoring science and global warming, but the EPA. You know, the EPA is here now. It's not just us either. They're killing the bees with the nicotine, annoyed pesticides, fancy chemicals they can make cheap. Make it real cheap. Make a lot of money. Yeah. Roundup. Oh yeah, make a lot of money. Make the Roundup cheap. And now we've got chloropyrethrin. The EPA has given us. You can make a lot of that real cheap too. You know, I'm sorry to say I used to work for Dow, and I went to Midland, Michigan once, and I was shown the machine that pumps out the aspirin. Acetylsalicylic acid is very, very cheap to make. And these little pills are just coming out of this machine like crazy. And the Dow guy that was giving me the tour said, look at this, you know, these little pills cost us about 1/2 cent a piece. Ha ha, he says, and we can put little A's or B's on them and sell them for 20 cents a piece or more. Make a lot of money, huh? Oh boy. Yeah, make money. Just all you got to do is find something, you know, that you can synthesize cheaply. Who cares about the bees anyway? Let's do some astrocartography. This is the July 22nd new moon, just 10 days before the August 2nd station of Uranus. And it gives us an indication of where the SHIT is going to hit the fan. Fans are Uranus, by the way. So when we look at our place to live, here we are in Hawaii. And this line here is the Pluto line. Pluto in the midheaven, public panic. Here's Uranus. Uranus on the rising sign. We all feel isolated and a little shaky. There are other areas of the world that are going to feel this too. Here's the Uranus on the bottom of the chart, running right up through here. Covered this before. And over here, here's Uranus on the descendant, running through the war zones. Oh boy. Okay, take a little finer look at it. These charts are set up for my house next to Magic Sands in Kona. Here's Uranus on the rising sign. Well, we're 1 degree off here. Pluto in the midheaven. Well, we got about 3 degrees here. Now, I'm interested in what happens afterwards. So here's the first quarter moon on July 30th. And sure enough, here's Uranus at the top of the chart. Public chaos. Here's tree limbs or something down in the street. That's 3 degrees off, but it's still 5 degrees is the orb. Here's August 7th. August 7th, we got Neptune opposing Mercury on the rising. Here's the rising sign, 1405 at my house. Neptune at 1335. That's just 1/2 degree off. So here's flooding, here's water. So first we have the wind from Uranus. Remember, the experts say, you know, run from water. Here's your water thing, August 7th, even a day or two before. Run from water, Uranus, that's Neptune. Hide from wind, that's Uranus. So we got indications of both here. Let's take a look at the 3/4 moon, August 14th. Well, if things are off the angle, maybe they get a little better, huh? Here's the new moon, August 21st. Things settle down. Okay, let's look at this July 22nd lunation more carefully. Here's Hilo. And at Hilo, we've got Uranus smack dab on the rising sign. Oh boy. So Hilo people on that side of the island, they're more likely to have the power outages and the wind problems and stuff. And I go look around the rest of the islands. Well, here's my house in Kona, and Uranus is off a little bit. Here is Kahului on Maui, and we're off more than 1 degree here. But the Pluto is still cooking on the midheaven. I'm still getting sirens, public stuff. Here's Molokai, Kona Kakai, and Uranus is now 2 degrees off the rising sign. Pluto's about the same. Let's look at Kailua on Oahu, and we're 3 degrees off. The Pluto is more tight up here. That's interesting. As Uranus moves off the off the rising sign, we have as Uranus moves off the rising sign, we have less individual aloneness. But Pluto coming up to this midheaven, here we're less than 1 degree, shows the public panic and the presence of police and military. Well, of course, this is Oahu, isn't it? Let's take a look at Honolulu. Honolulu, 1748. Well, so we're half a degree off here. So they're locked down. The Uranus is not as strong, in Honolulu. But the public panic and the police and the military closing everything down, close off the beaches, close off the, okay. So we got a little change in the response to this event. Here is Liuto on Kauai, and Uranus is clear 5 degrees off. So the wind is not such an important thing in the hurricane here. And Pluto, well, it's 1 degree off the midheaven, and it's crossed over. So we still have some public stuff going on. What's this one? Hanalei. Look at Hanalei. I'm trying to decide which side of the islands the hurricane's going over, see? And that's why I'm looking at Hanalei, because here we are 1 degree off, whereas in Liuto we're, let's see, which way does it go? This is almost 17. This is a little closer. Hanalei, Liuto. 1653, 1646. It's only 15. It's not that big a difference. I'm not sure we're able to make a judgment here about which side it's going over. However, when I look at Hilo, and Hilo has got this Uranus thing right there, my suspicion is that the hurricane is going to go by on the Hilo side. Okay, maybe the August 7th full moon, which indicated the flooding. So here we are at my house in Kona, and descendant here 1405, Neptune at 1335 is half a degree off, right? So, let's look at Hilo. Here's Hilo, and it's stretched it out more. Here we've got a degree and almost a half. So this kind of, I'm doing fine stuff here. This indicates maybe more water flooding on the Hilo side, but that doesn't necessarily mean the hurricane went by that side. I mean, Hilo's the windward side, huh? And so it's natural that it catches more water. Okay, here's Maui. Here's Kahului, Maui, and here you see, well, we're only 11 minutes off the Neptune. So the flooding seems to be kind of intense in Kahului. Maybe the hurricane going by that side. Okay, let's try another sample. Here's Honolulu. You can see that Neptune is now a full degree and 3 minutes past the angle here. So maybe Honolulu, well, let's check on the other side. Let's check Kailua on Oahu. Okay, here's Honolulu, 12:32. Here's Kailua, 12:39. Well, Honolulu, I guess the Kailua side is a little closer to Neptune. Might get a little more rain. So close though, huh? The difference between Honolulu and Kailua is only 7 minutes. So, okay, maybe Kauai will tell us. Here's the chart for Honolulu, and we're now 2 degrees and 40, 30, 20. Anyway, we're this far off. Now let's check Lahui on the other side of the island. Okay, there's Lahui, and we got 11:14 here compared to Neptune at 13:35. And here's Honolulu, 11:08. A little bit further away. Lahui's a little closer to Neptune. Now I don't know that this is going to work because, well, let me show you. Okay, we got hurricane coming at us. When it sees Mauna Loa, it either goes sploosh into it and dissolves, or it goes heloside or conuside. In this case, it looks a little bit like it's going to be conuside. Now you can't always tell from the rainfall because the wind is in the center here, and sometimes the rain is on the outskirts. So, you know, we're dealing with some close, just a few minutes here of difference. Another indicator is watch the insects around your house. If the ants are all headed to the roof, flooding. If the pets all run away, wind. Okay? Be a good kilo. Watch the environmental things around you. Good luck.